A very good morning to all of you. This is Abhilasha Nahata, your social science teacher. So, class, today we all are going to continue our chapter number second of your civics textbook. The name of the chapter is Understanding Secularism. In our last class, we have studied about like what is secularism, and after that we studied why it is important to separate religion from the state. Why do we need secularism in a country like India, especially in a country like India? Why do we need it? So I told you, like, there are the three reasons. First one is the tyranny of the majority. Okay? If tyranny of the majority will be there, it could lead to the discrimination. Second one, there should be a freedom for individuals to protect the freedom of individuals. There should be uh, separate religion. It is important to have a separate religion from the state. And the third one is the violation of the fundamental rights. If we do not separate our religion from the state, we violate the rights of the individuals, we violate the fundamental rights of the individuals. Okay, so now today we all are going to continue with the next topic, and the name of your topic is what is Indian secularism. Okay, we will talk about secularism from the Indian context. Okay, what is Indian secularism? Okay, so now Indian constitution mandates that the Indian state be secular. According to the constitution, only a secular state can realize its objectives to ensure the following. So our Indian constitution mandates, or it makes it necessary that Indian state should be secular. Indian state should have separate its religion from the state. And what are the objectives of the separate state, ये secular state? एक secular state के objectives क्या होने चाहिए? ठीक है, तो हम if we want to ensure ensure our state to be a secular, if we want to fulfill our objectives according to the constitution, a secular state can realize its objective to ensure the following. And what are those objectives? That one religious community does not dominate another. In our last class also, we studied about inter-community domination. Sorry, in our last chapter, we talk about inter-community domination and intra-community domination, right? So one of the objective is that one religious community does not dominate other. एक religious कम्युनिटी जो है, एनी रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी, वो दूसरे रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी को डोमिनेट नहीं कर सकती, ठीक है, डिस्क्रिमिनेट नहीं कर सकती. तो व्हाट इज in our Indian constitution is ensuring that one religious community does not dominate other. It is that does not dominate the other religious community. Now second objective is that some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. Intra इंट्रा कम्युनिटी में देखा था हमने. सो दैट सम मेंबर्स डू नॉट डोमिनेट. एक ही कम्युनिटी के जो मेंबर्स हैं, वो दूसरे कम्युनिटी, अपने ही कम्युनिटी के दूसरे मेंबर्स को क्या नहीं कर सकते, डोमिनेट नहीं कर सकते. एंड आवर इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज इंश्योरिंग दिस कि दैट some members are there, if they are dominating some other members of their own community, maybe because they are rich, and that those other community members are not so rich, so they can't dominate those persons on the basis of their class, right? Now the third objective is that the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individuals. State refers to the country or government. Government does not enforce, government does not enforce, or government जो है forcefully ठीक है, किसी भी पर्टिकुलर रिलीजन को आपको फॉलो करने के लिए फोर्स नहीं कर सकती, ठीक है, नॉट टेक अवे द रिलीजियस फ्रीडम ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स, और ना ही उनके पास ये राइट है कि दे टेक अवे द फ्रीडम, कि लाइक इंडिविजुअल्स हैव रिलीजियस फ्रीडम, तो the state can't take that right from you. Okay, so these are the three main objectives of the Indian secularism according to our constitution, and our constitution is ensuring these objectives of us. First one, एक community जो है वो दूसरे community को dominate नहीं कर सकती. Second one, what some members of one community can't dominate the other members of the same community, of same religious community, अपने ही members को, अपने ही community के members को dominate नहीं कर सकती. And the third one is government जो है वो किसी particular religion को आपके ऊपर enforce नहीं कर सकती, ना ही आपकी religious freedom जो है आपसे ले सकती है. So this is Indian secularism. Okay, so now we will see how Indian state works in various ways to prevent the above domination. We have seen three types of domination. First one is inter-community, second one is intra-community, and the third one is state intervention, right? So first one जो है, first आपकी जो first type का domination है, if one community, one religious community dominate another community, तो government ने क्या step लिया इस objective को fulfill करने के लिए कि कोई भी एक रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी दूसरे रिलीजियस कम्युनिटी को डोमिनेट नहीं कर सकती. तो गवर्नमेंट took this government uses this strategy of distancing itself from religion. गवर्नमेंट ने एक ऐसी स्ट्रैटेजी अडॉप्ट की. क्या स्ट्रैटेजी थी? इट distance itself from religion. Strategy of distancing itself from religion. The Indian state is not ruled by a religious group and nor does it support any religion. जो भी इंडियन स्टेट्स हैं वो किसी भी रिलीजियस ग्रुप के थ्रू जो है रूल नहीं किए जाएंगे, एंड दे ऑल्सो नॉट सपोर्ट एनी वन रिलीजन. वो किसी भी एक रिलीजन को जो है वो सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे. दिस इज द स्ट्रैटेजी यूज्ड बाय आवर इंडियन गवर्नमेंट, और कि वी विल नॉट सपोर्ट एनी वन रिलीजियस ग्रुप. We will not promote any one religious group, or we will not our Indian nation will not be ruled by any religious group. Okay, this is the strategy of distancing itself from religion. Okay, so in India, government spaces like law courts, police stations, government schools and offices are not supposed to display or promote any one religion. So in India we have seen many government offices like courts हो गए, आपके police stations हो गए, any government school or any government organization, they are not supposed to display, and they can't encourage any one religion. Okay, they can't motivate and they can't encourage any one religion, or they can't display the pictures of any one religion in their offices, or in their organization. So we follow this policy of distance. We follow this policy. Our government, our Indian government is following this strategy, especially in the government organization, which can't promote or encourage any one religion. Okay, so through this strategy, ठीक है, we can prevent, हम जो है इस टाइप के डोमिनेशन को, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन को हम क्या कर सकते हैं, प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं. Our Indian government adopted this strategy. Okay, so now second way through which we can prevent the domination. Before that, I would like to explain this story to you. Okay, this is a story. So just look at this. In a government school in Simapur, students want to celebrate a religious festival. So this is the background. There are some students in Simapur. Simapur is in Delhi, okay? And it's a government school. And some students want to celebrate a religious festival. So they asked their principal or teacher, "Sir, there is a big religious festival next month. We have never celebrated it in school. Can we do this? Can we do it this year?" Now these students want to celebrate some festival as they didn't, as they never celebrated any kind of festival in their school. So they want, we want to celebrate that festival in our school. So can we do this? Can we do this? So now the sir was explaining, "I'm afraid that isn't possible, Rekha. This is a government school. We cannot give importance to any one religion. Private schools may do that. Government schools don't celebrate any religious festivals in the school premises. Most religious festivals are public holidays so that we can celebrate these at home." Okay, now his teacher was explaining to him why he can't, why she can't celebrate that festival in the school, because this is a government school, and according to our uh, constitution, not a not a government organization or a government school or a government office can celebrate any one religious any one, or they can't promote any one religious festival or celebrate any religious festival in the school premises, because if we celebrate that, it means they are promoting that religion, right? So they can't do this. And he explained it, why there is a holiday, why there is a holiday on most of the religious festivals, because if we got that holiday, we can celebrate those festivals at home. So, according to our Indian Constitution, we can't celebrate any particular or any religious festival in the schools or offices, or courts, etc. Because if we celebrate any one religion, it will promote that religion. That's why. Okay. So now these two are the friends. Okay, Rekha and some boy. Who are talking to each other. So he was saying, "I never thought of it this way. I guess we can always celebrate it outside school." So now he was saying कि मैंने कभी ऐसा सोचा ही नहीं. I thought कि चलो हम अब स्कूल के बाहर ही इसको celebrate करते हैं. Now Rekha was saying anyway we were planning to celebrate it in our locality. So now she is saying कि okay, but we are celebrating it in our locality, so okay, we will enjoy it. Okay, now this is the storyboard. Okay, and according in this storyboard, what um, NCRT or what here they are going to explain it, like they wanted to know that the celebration of the religious festivals within the school would have been a violation of the government's policy of treating all religious equally. It will violate the government policy. Like if we follow, if we celebrate any one religion, it will violate the policy of treating all religious equally. Okay, ये violate करेगा. So government schools cannot promote any one religion either in the morning prayers or through religious celebrations. This rule does not apply to private schools. Now always remember, ये rule private schools में apply नहीं होता है. This rule is only applicable to the government school. They can't promote it. Either in the form of either in their morning prayers also they can't do this कि वो किसी एक particular religion के किसी भी गीत को गा रहे हैं या किसी भी प्रेयर को ऑफर कर रहे हैं. ओके, so this was the first way through which government can prevent the domination related to religion. Okay, now the second strategy adopted by the government is strategy of non-interference. Okay, strategy of non-interference means गवर्नमेंट जो है किसी भी चीज में इंटरफेयर नहीं करेगी. नॉन इंटरफेरेंस का मतलब क्या है? Government will not involve in any one particular thing or something like that in related to religion. Okay, so this means that in order to respect the sentiments of the of all religions and not interfere with the religious practices, the state makes certain exceptions for particular religious communities. Okay, now what this means? So obviously for the equality, for religious equality, uh, and if we and in order to respect the sentiments, take care feelings of all religions, and not interfere with religious, government will not interfere with any particular religious practices. Take care, like for example, if we will talk about this example here, ठीक है, कुछ exceptions जो हैं कुछ religious communities को दे रखी है, because if government interfere on those things, what will happen? It will hurt their sentiments, it will hurt their feelings. ठीक है, sentiments को, उनका religious faith को क्या होगा, hurt होगा, hurt पहुंचेगा. So that's why state can't interfere in some religious practices. Even state gives makes certain exceptions also for particular religious communities, and it will you will able to understand this strategy of non-interference with this example, with this story. Okay, now what is the background? A group of friends who have recently bought scooters are meeting to go for a ride together. Okay, so now, hey, I hope you have a helmet. You know the law in Delhi requires that you wear one. Why aren't you wearing a helmet? Do you want to be fined? Now this person is saying, I hope you have a helmet. I think I thought you have a helmet and you know all the rules and regulations of the Delhi, which requires like according to the Delhi law, it requires helmet. And if you wouldn't wear it, what you will be fined. So he is asking him, you want yourself to be fine. So now this person, according like हमें इसके पिक्चर से हमें क्या शो हो रहा है कि he is sick. Okay, so don't worry, I will not be fined. So hey Paramjit, why won't you be fine? Now he was like shocked कि क्या हो गया, तुम्हें फाइन क्यों नहीं देना पड़ेगा? But according to the laws, we will be fined if we don't wear helmets. Then he said, for Sikhs, wearing a pagadi is a very important part of our religion. The government cannot force me to wear a helmet. Now just look at this. What he replied, like for Sikhs, like एक ये religious community है Sikhism, ठीक है? Those who follow Sikhism and those who are Sikh wearing a pagadi or turban, टर्बन को पहनना, पगड़ी पहनना एक बहुत बड़ा क्या है, important part है उनके religion का. And government can't force them to wear a helmet because it is not possible कि वो helmet को क्या कर सके, पहन सके. So government क्या करती है, there are some exception, there are certain exceptions for particular religious communities, और वो उनके sentiments को hurt नहीं करना चाहती है. That's why they give some exceptions to those communities. Okay, now अब इसके पीछे भी था कि अगर हेलमेट क्यों पहनना चाहिए, like हेलमेट पहनना is like जरूरी है ना, कि if we can't wear it then what will happen, तो हम हमारा एक्सीडेंट होगा. ठीक है, हमारा एक्सीडेंट हो सकता है, और क्या है हमारे लाइक हेड में चोट पहुंच सकती है, राइट? तो बट टर्बन पहनने से क्या होगा, इट विल प्रोटेक्ट योर हेड. ऑब्वियसली टर्बन इज प्रोटेक्टिंग योर हेड, एंड दैट्स व्हाई इट इज लाइक गवर्नमेंट ने भी देखा कि ओके वो टर्बन पहन रहे हैं तो समहाउ इट विल प्रोटेक्ट देयर हेड. तो अगर वो हेलमेट नहीं भी पहने तो चलेगा, एंड क्या है उनके रिलीजियस जो सेंटिमेंट्स हैं वो भी हर्ट नहीं होंगे. ओके, now the third one is intervention of state. Okay, now in the second strategy we have seen that government if for the prevention of domination and for the respecting the sentiments of the religious communities, government can't interfere on their religious faith. ठीक है, they can even give some exceptions also, but there is also a intervention of state. There is also a policy where government can where state can government can intervene, ठीक है, interfere कर सकती है. Just remember the example of untouchability. ठीक है, in our last chapter we talk about the we talk about the domination. ठीक है, हमने वो समरदीप का भी एग्जाम्पल पढ़ा था, जहाँ पे उसे एक टपरी में क्या है चाय दी जाती है, बट वहीं पे वो जो चाय वाला है उसके फ्रेंड का नेम पूछता है. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है, some members of the same religion, upper caste Hindus dominate other members, some lower caste within it. ये जो untouchability है, now here state or government can intervene. Now here what is happening, this is not like यहाँ पे जो है बहुत सारे sentiments जो हैं, यहाँ पे inequality हमें देखने को मिल रही है, एंड लोगों की जो है कुछ जो लोअर कास्ट, सो कॉल्ड लोअर कास्ट जो मेंबर्स हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू द अपर कास्ट हिंदूज, वो क्या कर पा रहे हैं, उनकी डिग्निटी जो है वो वायलेट हो रही है, उनका राइट वायलेट हो रहा है. So now here state can intervene. So in order to prevent this religious based exclusion and discrimination of lower castes, the Indian constitution bans untouchability. Now in some cases government can intervene, government can interfere. Why? To prevent religion based exclusion and discrimination, कि भेदभाव ना हो, किसी को सोसाइटी से उनका जो राइट है वो वायलेट ना हो, लोअर कास्ट का जो सो कॉल्ड लो कास्ट पीपल है अकॉर्डिंग टू द अपर कास्ट, उनका उनकी उनके जो राइट्स हैं वो वायलेट ना हो. ठीक है, उन्हें उनका जो सेल्फ एस्टीम है वो कम ना हो. That's why they bans untouchability. Okay, so to ensure that laws relating to equal inheritance rights are respected, the state may have to intervene in the religion-based personal laws of the communities. So to ensure that we all get equal rights, equal inheritance rights, and all the rights got the equal respect, everybody got their right of living with dignity, the state may intervene in some kind of in some religions. Okay, so they can make जो पर्सनल लॉज बने हुए होते हैं कुछ रिलीजन्स के, तो वहां पे स्टेट क्या कर सकती है, इंटरवीन कर सकती है. नाउ जस्ट लुक एट दिस एग्जांपल हियर, बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स जो है, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऊपर टेबल चेयर में जो है डेस्क में बैठे हुए हैं, बट सम स्टूडेंट्स सिटिंग ऑन द फ्लोर. तो दिस विल नॉट हैपन. ये क्या है, इक्वालिटी नहीं है. ठीक है, these are like the personal laws made by some religious community. Okay, so this here now government can intervene. यहाँ पे government intervene करे because rights of these students are getting violated. Okay, so the intervention of the state can also be in the form of support. The Indian Constitution grants the right to religious communities to set up their own schools and colleges. It also gives them financial aid on a non-preferential basis. In our last chapter, when we talked about the fundamental rights, there is a one fundamental rights we have, cultural and educational rights. So our this intervention, our government can also intervene in the form of support. What they are doing according to that right, that right is giving us grant us the right to set up our own schools and colleges, educational schools or colleges, our institutions, जिससे कि हम अपने religion को promote कर सकें. But this ये जो इंटरवेंशन होता है, ठीक है, या हेल्प होती है, सपोर्ट होती है, वो नॉन प्रेफरेंशियल बेसिस पे होती है. ऐसा नहीं है कि गवर्नमेंट इज प्रेफरिंग एनी वन कम्युनिटी की, लाइक मुस्लिम्स को प्रेफर कर दिया, जैन्स को नहीं किया, या सिख को कर दिया. ठीक है, बुद्धिज्म को नहीं किया, नो, ये नॉन प्रेफरेंशियल बेसिस पे होती है। गवर्नमेंट कैन सपोर्ट फाइनेंशियली बट ऑन द नॉन प्रेफरेंशियल basis. So class, this is all about today. Thank you for joining the class, everybody. So we will meet in our next class, and if you face any problem, you may ask me in my next class. Okay, so bye bye, keep learning, happy learning, stay safe and take care of yourself.